I think that it's a very, very important and worthwhile movement. Because people are awakening. Young people are awakening. I firmly believe that they are right in saying that generation is right in saying it got screwed. It did get screwed. The gap between the 99% of us who aren't billionaires and the billionaires has become much, much too great, and is become so entrenched because of the money it holds, and money buys power, that only a mass movement, only a popular movement can change things around for the better for the rest of us. First of all, I never thought we'd get into a depression again because of the various safety nets that we built into our country's economy. And but when it happened, I didn't think that the country would be so undermined in its efforts to recover by the Republicans in power. There is no reputable economist in the country who will tell you that giving more, distributing more wealth to the rich by giving them lower taxes will actually create jobs and create a healthier economic environment. It just doesn't work that way. The only way to do it is to spend money. You have to spend money on public works, you have to spend money on education, you have to spend money on welfare, and nowadays you have to spend money on ecology. During the Great Depression, we did all those things. We had the CCC, which was the Civilian Conservation Corps, which took young men out of work and put them into a group that built up all our national parks, for instance. They did all the work on the national parks. You know, and I had a cousin who was in it, and it saved his life, literally saved his life. He was starving to death. They had the WPA, the Works Project Administration, which used government money to build courthouses and libraries and schools and public buildings all over the country, and build bridges and dams, which laid the groundwork for the great prosperity we had for the next 40 years until the present time. And I just can't understand why ordinary people allow their politicians to get away with refusing to take the economic actions that are absolutely necessary to get the country back to economic health. Well, actually, there is a political crime called misfeasance, for which you can impeach an elected official. And misfeasance means willfully refusing to do the job for which you were elected. And to my mind, that's what's happening now. So I think, as I said before, just sitting around doesn't do you a lot of good, no matter how lofty your aims are. As I heard a politician say recently, one I respect a great deal, is the only thing that gets pressured when you camp out is the grass you sit on. But there are ways, even if you don't want to be organized into a political movement, you can take advantage of the political structure as it is now. I know if I were organizing a group like Occupy Wall Street that was leery of joining political parties, what I would do is I would make up a questionnaire asking political activists and political candidates how they feel or what their answers would be to the questions that are important to me. And then take those questionnaires and go out and vote, regardless of party.
Yeah.
You don't have to belong to any party in order to be part of the body politic. If you don't want to run for office yourself, that's fine. That's the best way to do it, to my mind, is to run for office. But in effect, you would become a third party, even if you're not organized as one, but you would fulfill the function of third parties in the United States. And under our Constitution, of course, the Constitution didn't provide for political parties, but under the system we have, which grew up under the Constitution, third parties generally provide the new ideas. And when the new ideas become so popular that they actually sway people, politicians in one party or the other will take them over. But you'll still get them done, and that way you can keep your lily white hands clean if you need to do so. Somewhere, somehow, a couple of persuasive people are going to have to come along and give a real face to the movement. Now you've got started, you've got a group of people who agree with you. Sit down and define what it is you hope to accomplish, and then figure out ways to accomplish it. There are two ways to do that. One is to get into the political system, join a party, get active in the party structure, and eventually you will achieve a way of influence, whether by getting elected or by working within the party as a party official. That takes a time, but that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to become a pressure group. Do exactly what the Tea Party did. The Tea Party started off, they did everything right. They got together, they organized, they made clear their objectives, and they forced politicians to listen to them, and then they went ahead and they backed the politicians who listened to them. Now, I happen to think they're full of crap, but the fact of the matter is they did do it right, and the Occupy movement can do exactly the same thing. In fact, they can do it better. And I don't know what else I can say to make my point, except to exhort you young folks to do more than just sit. Even if it means swallowing your own prejudices against the system and working in it. The Constitution that we have is a marvelous thing. It allows anybody to take part in its government and to raise up against the government it doesn't like in a peaceful manner, and to take the reins into your own hands and do what has to be done. And like I say, it requires work, but it's not hard. You don't have to go through any ritual like you do to join a church or to join the Masons or to join a club. Nobody requires you to give up anything. Nobody says to you, you've got to devote your entire life to this. You can't have kids, you can't have a life. You can. You can do all that and still make a better world for yourself and for children. And that's what if I were still active, would be urging people to do.